bumper show, Honorable FLOMO.
Thank you so much.
Is this your first time here?
Certainly.
Okay, so you are welcome, and please feel at home.
Oh, thank you for welcoming, and also thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, so NIMBA County District 2 people, you have your representative in studio. NIMBA people, you have your representative. Liberian people, you have your representative in studio. He's here with us on the program this afternoon. And as you know, on Thursdays, we only take an hour because coming up at 5 o'clock is the program from the House, and that has to do with all of the activities from the House of Representatives. But in the meantime, we be talking to our representative here in studio, Honorable NYAHN FLOMO. Honorable FLOMO, once again, welcome. And I want you to first of all start by telling us how has it been since your ascendancy, since you took office at the House of Representatives.
Yeah, thank you. I think coming from the private sector and entering government, especially at the level of the House of Representatives, is a different experience by itself.
Of course.
And when you are out there, the expectations are different. And when you get in, certain things are different. And so it's been a learning experience, and we are trying to cope.
Okay. Yeah. So there are several committees already set up. Have you had your hand on one of those committees?
Yeah, currently I am the co-chair on good governance.
Okay.
A member on the committee on education, a member on the committee of health, and a member on the committee on gender. So these are the committees that I.
And good governance will now take me into one of the issues that I want us to talk about. And you've one of those who been pushing about this issue of the decentralization, the local government act. You even asked that when the executive is appointing those local county officials, they should submit those names at least, so you people at the legislature can know who are those and whether they are in line with the decentralization act and all of that. But recently the president mandated all of those ministries and agencies who are responsible, especially about this revenue sharing act, to kick off the process. How did you receive the news, and how important is this for the counties?
Well, when it comes to revenue sharing, once it's implemented, it's in the interest of NIMBA, because frankly speaking, we contribute a significant share of the revenue. And so if a mechanism is put in place for the revenue sharing implementation to kick off, certainly it's going to be a good news for us, especially coming from NIMBA. And so we need to see how those laws that are crafted can begin to work. And some of those areas don't require donor support, because one of the challenges we've seen over the years, especially when I was in the civil society area, is that we have laws that are passed. Those laws are praised by our donor partners, that they are progressive, but the implementation has been a challenge. And each time when the issue of implementation is raised, the executive would say there is no money. But there are also some low-hanging fruits that don't require funding. For example, recently, like what you were referring to, I requested the executive to submit the names of especially city mayors and district commissioners, because the Local Government Act says to be a mayor, you must have a degree, a BSc degree or a bachelor degree.
Okay.
To be a township commissioner, for example, you must be at least a high school graduate. So we don't require donor funding to make sure that we are consistent with that provision of the law. All we need is to review, look at the law and see how those areas that are easy to be applied can be applied. And I can tell you where I sit, that the executive have made appointment, people have made appointment mayors, who, in my mind, don't meet that criteria set. For example, in my communication, I ask for their tax clearances because the law says they must be taxpayers.
Okay.
I ask for their police clearances because they say they must not be criminal. So we are waiting to see whether the executive will do the needful.
Okay.
So I'm just raising some of these points so that at the end of the day, the executive can be careful in how they go about doing those things. There's some of the laws, the implementation don't require funding. So you can say UNDP can help you so I can know whether the person get a degree or the person get a degree. Once the law is ready, you must go by it.
This local government act that we still talking about also provide room for the county council. And I want you now tell us, because once you are keen on those other areas, I'm sure you should be keen on the county council of NIMBA. Where are we with the council today?
Well, because we wanted to hit the ground running, so when we formulated the NIMBA caucus, one of the areas that we thought we could focus on was the issue of the county council.
Okay.
So when we did our desk review, we got to know that there is a council setup.
Okay, so, the council is already set up.
Yeah, it's set up.
Okay.
So we went further to see whether we can consult our colleagues that we met at the house. That is members of the NIMBA Legislative Caucus. So they said they did not know about the formation of the council. So it brought in the question of whether the due diligence was done.
You said other members? They don't know the formation of the caucus. And whose responsibility is it to formulate the caucus? I mean, the council?
Well, it is the executive responsibility.
Okay.
But you remember, we need to coordinate.
It should be done in consultation.
In consultation or in coordination.
Okay.
So that raised a flag, and we decided to go a little deeper. And so we invited one of the crafters of the document, who is in person of Dr. White Dollier.
Okay, good governance.
Yeah, good governance, to give us a little more light on the formation of the council, and then make us to clearly understand what are some of the steps involved. So he provided us some resource material. The resource material he provided is what is called the Ministry of Internal Affairs Administrative Regulation for the county council. So it lays out the steps to follow. And so based on what he provided, we decided to go back to the county to find out whether those steps are followed.
Okay.
And we've discovered that those steps were not followed.
Wow.
So we just concluded a resolution calling on the executive, that is through the Ministry of Internal Affairs, to go back and do the needful. Let me just give you one or two examples. For example, the county council requires that the council of chiefs must have 3 persons there as their representatives.
Okay.
So our council of chiefs for NIMBA County was organized 2 weeks ago. So tell me, how can you have a county council that people are representing the chiefs in the need of the nomenclature of council of chiefs? You understand? One of the things we've also discovered is that the regulation defines what the law refers to as county organization. So, for example, if you look at youth organizations in the county, all of them should come together under one umbrella organization. It is that umbrella organization that is going to submit a representative to the council. That is another area that we haven't seen. And then there are a lot of requirements according to the regulations. For example, the election magistrate of the county is supposed to verify and validate the existence of these organizations, their articles of incorporation, their business registration, and all along the way, when they are doing nominations, for example, their minutes should be kept. It says that the regulation also says that 60% of member organizations So that umbrella organization must be present during nomination, and then they should sign onto the nomination. So we are reminding the executive to go back and do the needful.
So there's needful. What will it mean? Is it to dissolve the council, organize it
Well,
again?
it's left with them.
Okay.
We have raised the flag, so it's left with them to do
How
the needful.
many members are we talking about in this council?
That should be a 9-member council.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So we have raised the flag, and we're asking them to do the needful. Now, to do the needful, we're also watching whether those steps outlined in the Ministry of Internal Affairs administrative regulation for the County Council will be followed.
okay, all right. Let me just quickly remind our listeners that you are listening to the Bumper Show. NIMBA County District 2 Representative NYAHN FLOMO is here with us, and several issues we are looking at together. If you are there, we are here. Keep following us. We will give you the opportunity to ask some questions later. But in the meantime, we're still talking. Let's stay around in the district a little bit, Honorable FLOMO, and talk about your current activities in the district, because I know once you've been elected now, people in the district will look up to you for many things, of course. So what has been your engagement with your people? What are some of the activities you are involved with right now?
So one of the first activities that we embarked on was to get back to the people and hold consultations with them. So we started our appreciation program with a one-day consultative meeting with the people to outline their development priorities. So my district comprises 4 major regions.
Okay.
So the appreciation and the consultation is region specific, because even though
is a Metal in your district?
Partially in my district.
Okay.
So I have a little portion of my district within the Metal area.
Okay.
And so we decided that even though all the people fall within District 2, but if you go to YAP, for example, their needs will be slightly different from the people of Say. And the need for Say may be slightly different from the people of Bois. And the need for Bois will be slightly different from the people of Ga. And so that's how we arrange it. And then the rationale about that is for us to have it documented, so that when we are lobbying, we know exactly what to lobby for a specific region. And so we've completed like 75% of that. Shortly, by next week, we'll be completing the rest. And now also we've been able to have a sitting for those of our communities that fall within the ArcelorMittal impact areas. And so we've done that, and then they also have worked along with our office to come up with their priority projects. And shortly we'll be submitting that to the appropriate authority for onward action. And we have embarked on the upgrading of a 23-kilometer road.
Okay.
From the guard.
Is that your own project?
Yes,
work?
Yes.
Okay.
In collaboration with the Ability Foundation.
Okay.
So we started that, and it's ongoing. Hopefully, in the next maybe 2 months, for example, the work will be completed. And we continue engaging our people. In fact, since my election to the House of Representatives, I've spent only 2 weekends in Monrovia. So the rest
all the time
I'm in NIMBA.
And you just said that from one region to another in your district there are different needs, but in general, what is the common need?
So the issue of road is a cross-cutting need. The issue of health is the issue of health is a cross-cutting need. Like for example, my district has just one public clinic.
And how many people are we talking about?
The clinic serves over 17,000 people annually. And the road from that clinic to Seneca, where the referral hospital is located, is in a very bad shape. So it's a challenge to our people. Unfortunately, when the budget came from the executive, that clinic was not captured in it.
Mm.
Yeah, and we raised the issue, and they said, well, it's not being quoted within the Ministry of Finance system. So at this particular budget year, there's no way for it to be captured. But we are working around things with the Ministry of Health itself to see whether they can pay some attention to that clinic.
Mm.
So the issue of health, I mean, medical is an issue.
Okay. I want to bring you now to Capitol Hill
Mm.
and let's talk a little bit about the work you do. And I want to start it on the rocky note a little bit because in recent time, in fact, since the start of the 55th legislature, some of your own colleagues at the House of Representatives, have been very, very vocal and founding, on their own colleagues. We heard from Monserrato District 9 representative even threatening that he's going to, set the chambers on fire because people were there doing things out of the way, taking, something under the table and all of that. Even Monserrato District 3 lawmaker, Sumo Moba, also, open up in the public about this, accusing some of his own colleagues of doing business with the work they are doing at the legislature. Are you seeing such a thing happening? Is this something that you notice as well?
Well, I know in any case at the House, there are people with interest. And so because of their vested interest, sometimes they try to compromise some of the stands that we take.
Mm.
And so from my background, I don't like to accuse without proof.
Okay.
So if a bribery is going on, all of what we've heard are hearsay. None of our colleagues who have raised the issue have provided documentary evidence to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't want to speculate. But one thing that I'm sure of is that people have vested interest in the individuals, the entities, and so forth, even in some of the various ministries. And what I can say is if we are to make a difference, we need to appropriately exercise our oversight. If we want the executive to be clean, we ourselves must be clean.
Mm.
Because he who preaches equity must come with clean hands. One good thing that has happened is that during his victory speech, the current speaker raised the issue of accountability as one of the areas that he will work. And he said publicly that the House will be audited. So one of the ways to begin showing to the Liberian people that we are serious about fighting corruption is for us to make sure that our own system and records are audited. And then the issue of audit is not to, I mean, a lot of people think that when they say an audit is about to take place, it means people are about to being exposed or people are going to be disgraced. But I think the issue of audit is to look at the system. If there is a fault with the system, to see how it can be corrected. And so, if the House is getting a significant portion of the national cake, can subject itself to audit, then what do we expect the executive to do? So it's one thing that I stand for.
You've been at the House for maybe I can say 6 months now, and I'm sure people back home and even people listening might want to know what has been your contribution so far to the country at large. Yes, you spoke about all of the activities you involved with your county, but lawmakers, coming on Capitol Hill, people expect many things of you people. So what has been your contribution performance wise? What will your scorecard show?
Well, I don't want to grade myself, but one thing I can say I'm always an active participant during discussion plenary. And so, besides that, we've proffered several communications. One of the first communications we proffered was to also remind the executive that there is a law called the Executive Law of 1972. And Section 10.2 of that law says every county must be given a cabinet minister post. So
every county should be given a cabinet minister post. Is that happening with this government?
So let me come there. So I proffered that communication, and then requested the executive to give us the listing of all of the cabinet ministers along with their counties of origin. So it took like 2 months, and it responded to that communication.
Okay.
And I did the metrics. The metrics I did showed that there are 7 counties left out.
Wow.
The Great Maserado County does not have a cabinet minister.
Maserado. Most of the time, people think that everybody is here, so to find where somebody is from.
7 counties are left out.
Okay.
And so we also wrote by reminding the executive that the way appointments were done at the cabinet level is in violation of that particular section of the law. Yeah.
And okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we also have written the executive to clarify the mining rights to 2 mountains in my area, Mount Deton and Mount Blay. They are located in a region that connects, say, NYAHN and Zor. For the past 5 months, there have been tension in the area. I mean, in fact, there was a shootout there at a certain point, and somebody was wounded. And so that drew my concern and felt that the only way we can move forward with that is for the executive to clearly explain who they have given the exploration right to. Because currently there are 3 companies claiming right to the exploration. You have Solway Mining Incorporated, which is a Liberian-owned business, and then Solway Investment Group, which is a Swiss-based business, and you have AML. Each of them claiming exploration right to the mountain. So we also proffered that communication. We also have engaged other sectors to see how the right things are done. Because when I was running campaign, the issue of oversight is what I promised my people I'm going to be strong on. Okay. Because if the oversight responsibility that we have is not appropriately exercised, then all of the legislations that we are making, they are useless. Okay. Because we expect the executive to go by those laws. If we observe they're not going back, we need to call in the order.
So what now? I want to go back to that law that you reference, and that talks about each county getting a cabinet minister post. Now, the executive has responded to your communication, and you've done your matrix, and 7 counties left out. But first, I want to ask you whether there is any county that has more than one.
Lofa alone has 5.
Okay,
NIMBA has 2. Grand Basso has 3.
Cabinet ministers.
Yes.
And 7 counties.
7 counties are left out.
Okay. So what's the way forward? What are you going to in your oversight?
In my oversight, we've written back reminding the executive that this is what is happening. You need to act. So we are watching. There are other remedies, but we think that in the spirit of coordination, we should open a line of communication by reminding the executive that certain things are not done in line, and then they must go accordingly.
Okay, so let me just open the lines now. If you want to interact with us, Representative NYAHN FLOMO, NIMBA County District number 2 is in studio with us. You've been following and listening to the conversation. If you have questions to ask, you have comments to make, recommendations you want to put through, Representative FLOMO is here. So you can call us on 0777 835 862. 0777 835 862 0886 6165 80 0886 6580, and you will be live here on the program. You can ask all of your questions to Representative FLOMO, and I'm sure he's going to provide you all of the necessary answers. Let's hear from this person. Hello.
Good evening. This is Isaac Williams, and I call from Chester City. Isaac B. Williams.
Okay, Isaac, just take a minute and let's hear from you.
Thank you. Let me say bravo to Representative NYAHN FLOMO. Those of us who follow the media or practice journalism, we can brag that anyone who practices journalism, any day amateur one and the law, you had advantage or you have mastered over some of the things. So owing to the fact that Mr. FLOMO is a media guru coming in the house, though, the first time coming to do extensive research and review the kind of important issues, I must commend him. And I say bravo, and we hope that some of his colleagues will supporting his endeavor of having a balanced government, especially when some of us we heard that that was in the plan of other government, but we felt that it was just something that they were doing it out of their own volition or out of their own thinking, but we didn't know, some of us as young people didn't know that there's a law that exists that even made the government to balance the issue of cabinet minister.
Okay.
And again, I also want to concur with them that while it is true that we have been around, again, there are, frankly speaking, there are some issue maybe that may not have actually been well in terms of the establishment of county council across the country. When the local government out of power, there were people who were saying that once they were not implemented and they put the government feet to the fire at a time. So all in mind, holistically, they were
okay.
Establishing or formulating a county council to the extent that some of those steps were not necessarily taken, and today some of the results are striking us. So the sooner that we arrest the situation, the better we stand to have an effective county council across the country. So
thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being there. Thank you for putting your calls through. Let's hear from another person. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Can you say that name again?
Moses Josie calling from Kingsway.
Okay, Moses, let's hear from you just a minute.
Yeah, I listen to the Honorable. I think he's pushing some good points. But I want to ask him about the law that you are putting. And I think when you are talking about Lupa and Lupa 5, although I hear from NIMBA, we have been seeing that in every government, the Lupian always dominate. So what are the criteria to become minister or because it requires qualification, but if it will come from each county, the executive see that the qualification is looking for the other country now have. So what would they do if that because appointment is a cost?
Okay. All right. Thank you, Honorable FLOMO. Will respond to that immediately. Then we can take maybe some more calls.
Yeah. The Constitution gives the president a right, but the same Constitution, on the session I talk about general principle of government, it says that participation in government must reflect geographical balance, and integration. And so it is based on that portion of the Constitution that the executive law, that provision of the executive law that I spoke of, that is section 10.2, was derived. You understand? Even in our own rule, Rule 49, that references the Committee on Good Governance. It also tasked that committee to ensure that there are geographical balance in government. And so it's done that other people are not qualified. You can tell me, for example, in from Grand Jide County, you don't have qualified person to be a minister. Grand Jide is one of the counties that left out.
Okay.
You can tell me in Maserado that you and I are sitting here, there is no qualified person that become a minister. You understand? So the law is not saying we should appoint a minister. No. It's only reminding the president or the executive that these are the things you need to do so that they can be balanced in government.
Okay, let's hear from another person. Hello?
Yes, good evening. How are you doing?
Welcome.
Thank you. Well, my name is Gongno Odishos Tepa, and I come from the GS0.
Okay.
I want to be so grateful to the Honorable Lawmaker. I'm so excited. I want to believe that the people of District Number 2 didn't make any, wrong decision by electing him. The fact that he's in the studio and discussing ones that speak about equity must come with clean hands and even suggesting the House of Parliament to an audit, I think he's making the people of NIMBA proud and the people of Lesbos proud. Honorable Lawmaker, I want to say bravo to you. Thank you for the hard work. Continue, and I want to believe that your district will hold you in very high esteem. Thank you ever so much. Those are things that we wanted to come on board with the district of District Number 9, NIMBA, and God didn't make us to come by this time. And I want to believe that next time we'll come to join you to make NIMBA to be very strong. Thank you ever so much.
Keep trying, brother. Keep trying. Thanks so much. Hello?
Yeah, good afternoon. How you doing?
We good in here.
Yeah, I'm Johnson Carmen. I'm calling from Manback there.
Johnson, you have a minute?
Huh?
You have a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to say thanks to my honorable because I hear from DHP2 where he sat over. Yeah, I want to ask my honorable because if you look in our country now, this I don't know what I hear about the Investment Act in the House of Legislatures. I don't know what I hear about that. So I want to ask you what is the stand? If you are here, but what is the stand on it?
Okay.
Because when we look around today, our businesses are there in the foreigner saying the business that Liberians ought to do. It's in the foreigner hand. I don't know what our legislatures, what are they doing towards that?
Okay. All right. Thank you. Sir, you want to respond to him?
Yes, I think that's what I said. The issue of oversight is important. We have the liberalization policy, for example.
Of course.
And it's been around for long.
Very long time.
And it's been violated for long.
For common.
And for common, like you said. So if the legislature is strong in its oversight, you will see some of the things working. Even if we have the best investment act written and there is no political will, I mean, it's just a useless document. So to your question, the best we can do about those things is to make sure that we have strong oversight. We have some of our colleagues who are on committees related to investment and other things. We will encourage them to see how those areas of the law that are supposed to benefit our people, we can continuously remind the executive to make sure that they are implemented.
We are out of time, Honorable FLOMO, but if you can just take 2 minutes, first of all, and give us your own impression about government's performance since the inception of the new government led by President Joseph Boakai.
Well, thank you. I think in some areas, the government is trying. For example, the intervention with the rule is making some impact.
Okay.
So a couple of people have told me that they leave from Harper in Maryland and travel 1 or 12 hours to get to Monrovia, which for me is a good thing.
Okay.
From Vonjuman to Monrovia, people have come here in less than 5 hours, which is a good thing. What I think we need to remind the government of is the respect for the rule of law. Some time ago, I was opportune to be on Truth FM, and I raised the issue at the time. This whole hulu balu about tenure facility, tenure position was going about, and I said, well, one of the arrows in the arrest agenda is the rule of law, and so if the issue of tenure position needs to be addressed, it must be addressed in that framework. And it didn't take long when the Supreme Court ruled in favor of those who were affected. Even now, there is this whole noise about the road building equipment. And I think it also borders around the rule of law. And so I was just telling someone jokingly that instead of having the arrest agenda, we now have the arrest agenda. The second arrow that should have stood for the rule of law and now stand for undo the rule of law. It's just a joke. So that's I come up, yeah. But for democracy to work at all levels, we must respect the rule of law. Because if it doesn't happen, even if you have good intention, it may be exploited by other people who may have bad intention.
Okay.
So when we observe the rule of law, it puts us in a better position. I just wanted to touch on something that I forgot.
Okay, you can do that in your parting comments.
Okay, good. Yeah, so I also introduced recently the Community Radio Ownership Management and Operation Bill.
Okay, so no wonder why that guy, that caller said you are part of this entire media.
Yeah. Okay. So and we are working on it. We have had one public hearing, and probably we'll be scheduling another one again, so that we can make sure that it can be speedily put to the ball.
Okay.
Another thing that I've been approached and I'm trying to push is this. There's a bill that is called a Green Economy Bill, which I'm also interested in, and I have volunteered to be one of the champions. And what that bill tries to seek is to use our mineral resources abundant, and then we get money from the international community of donor partners, and then it helps to develop our area and the community that those resources are located in, instead of just mining everything, cutting down all of the forest. And because last year I was at the COP28 in Dubai, and countries were bringing proposal of how they can help mitigate climate change by also keeping their forests intact. Okay. And we believe that if such a bill goes through, it's going to help in climate change mitigation.
Okay. All right. So thanks so much for coming, Representative FLOMO, and hope we can have more time later on doing, when you've settled down more, you've done more work, we can get you on and let your people know more of what you're doing for them in their district, for NIMBA County and for Liberia Large. Many thanks for coming.
Thank you so much. It's actually been a pleasure being here.
Okay.
And let me say bravo to the management of Elbc for making sure that the facility continues to run.
Okay, so on that note, that's how we draw down the curtains on this abbreviated edition of the Bumper Show. Next week, Monday, we will be here with another edition on behalf of the entire production team. My name is Chab Davis, wishing you all the best from Painesville.